How many new miniatures have come out since the launch of Warhammer the Old World? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome back to Emblem Doom Miniatures. My name is Deets and I hope you've all been well, and today I thought we'd have some fun and go through all the new miniatures that have come out with Warhammer the Old World since its launch back in January 2024, which is almost 2 years ago now. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from people that are kind of getting into the old world is that, yuck, these miniatures look old, or these miniatures look way out of date, or they're kind of old and kooky and weird. And look, I completely understand that, especially if you're looking at this game as something new that GW are bringing out. And these comments have had me thinking for a while now, how many new miniatures have been brought out with the old world since its launch. So today I'll go through each army because we all know I love a good list. And I was thinking in the later half of this video, we can take a look at how many new miniatures or releases Age of Sigmar and 40k have had come out in the past nearly 2 years now, just to compare. I know the old world is a secondary game run by a different studio, but I thought it would be an interesting bit of information. And just to clear it up now, I'm counting each release or box as one, even if there are multiple miniatures in each box. Counting it like this will make life just a little bit easier for me. Now, as of recording this video, we're at the end of 2025, heading into 2026. So if you are watching this video in the future, I hope you have a bunch of new old world miniatures and maybe a few new armies, or maybe even some classic armies being brought back. But anyway, let's get into it, and we're going to start off with the mighty Empire of Man. Now, the Empire range has some absolute top tier miniatures, and if you jump on the Warhammer website, you'll see that they have a pretty robust catalogue with some minis that date back to the 90s Warhammer fantasy days. But this army, by old world standards, is a bit more refreshed and modern compared to some of the other races, as they had new minis and some new units come out towards the end of Warhammer Fantasy, around 7th and 8th edition, so to me they still hold up pretty well. Since the Empire's re-release, which was announced in November 2024, exactly 1 year ago, they've had around 5 or 8 new miniatures if you count familiars, but as these guys do come together in one box or blister pack, I'm just going to count them as one. The Specialist Design team also reworked an old favourite, the War Wagon. Now the new War Wagon is pretty much the same as the old version, but the key difference is that they updated the horses, which I thought was a nice touch. So I'm going to give this half a point. Now one new mini which I wasn't a huge fan of is General Hans von Lohenhackel. The longer I look at this thing, the more I get World of Warcraft vibes from it. His armor is very bulky when I compare it to other miniatures like the Commanders of the Empire, who have a slimmer, scrappier, Holy Roman Empire look going on, and it really drives home to me that General Hans is a bit of a miss. But with that, we do have a win with the next new old world Empire mini, and that is this guy here, Harold Gemmensen, and this thing is a beauty. The pose of Harold on the horse, the leopard cape, and the morbid skeleton on the horse's armor are perfect. Now looking at it, he is suffering from a bit of bulky armoritis like old Hans, but maybe the way he's posed helps with this. I really like this mini, and I do love a reference to classic Oldhammer art. So counting all these guys up, it brings us to a total of 5.5 new miniatures for the Empire of Man. Next up, let's look into some new miniatures from one of my favorite armies, the High Elves. And just like the Empire, the High Elves had a lot of refreshed units towards the end of Warhammer Fantasy, so they do hold up. But we had some reworking and refreshing on an older unit like the Illyrian Reavers. I missed this when these guys first came out, as I thought they were just the same minis from the Isle of Blood box set. But no, these have some new spiffy horses and a slight refresh. Now I don't understand why these guys got the rework and not the silver helms. Maybe they still had the original STL files handy for the Reavers, so it was just easier to rework them, who knows. Next Games Workshop did something completely wild to me and brought out this huge monstrosity, the Merworm, to the High Elf range, which was hand sculpted by Trish Carden, and I do find it pretty funny to have all these clean, prim and proper elves ranking up next to this giant, grotesque looking sea beast, but I do think it's a great model. The next two brand new High Elves to come out with the old world are Ashaya Vess and the Lord of Krace. I love both of these minis, especially Ashaya Vess, as I can see her in a High Elf Mordheim warband, and I'm in a bit of a pirate mood lately, so she gets a big thumbs up with that eye patch. The Lord of Krace is a beauty as well. I love his regal pose, and I've seen some really nice paint jobs of him. But in terms of new minis for the High Elves in the old world, it's a grand total of 4, as I'm counting the unit of Reavers as one mini. Alright, that's enough for the boys and girls of Ulthuan. Let's take a look into the next army's new miniatures, and these are the Orcs and Goblins. Unfortunately, the Green Skin Menace didn't get a flurry of new plastic or resin minis compared to some of the other races, but just to have the option to pick up some classics again like the Doom Diver Catapult, the Orc Wyvern, and some characterful goblins is definitely a great thing. As for the new greenskin minis, we were given a badass Black Orc boss with all the bells and whistles, and the Shaman Ogdra Swamp Digger and his little snotling mates who are tending to his cauldron. And as these guys are the only new miniatures to come out with this army, it brings us to a grand total of 2 new miniatures or releases for the Orcs and Goblins. Let's move on to the Tomb Kings, and to me these guys had the most dated looking army, but that's not to say they had a few good new minis come out over the past couple years. As these undead Egyptian dudes were a launch army for the old world, they definitely had to come out of the gates with a bang, and as much as their old skeletons look pretty old and kooky, they did have a few pretty badass minis like the Nekaf, Emissary of Setra, the Tomb King, the Battle Standard Bearer, and the new Tomb Swarms. But the cherry on the cake for the new Tomb King minis would have to be the Tomb King or Lich Priest on the Necrolith Bone Dragon, which came out in their old world starter box with a new Tomb King Herald mini as well, but I'll count these as one because they come on the same sprue. I feel like dropping a big old dragon with a launch is probably the best way to start any game or relaunch any game, and I'm a big fan of the little zombie cat that rides on this thing. Now that's not all of the new releases for the Tomb Kings since the launch of the old world, as we just had a couple more drop in the past few weeks, and these are some of my absolute favorite Tomb Kings minis to date, and they are the new Lich Priest minis and also the Royal Herald minis. They come on foot and mounted, and honestly it doesn't get much better than this, and if these guys look this good, imagine what the new skeletons will look like in the future. Now I hope I didn't miss any, and this brings the total of new Tomb Kings miniatures or releases to 7. Next up we have the Bretonnians, but before we move on to these fantasy Frenchmen, make sure you like this video if you're enjoying it, and maybe subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get back into it. Just like the Tomb Kings, the Bretonnians had a fair few new minis with their release, as they were the partner launch army, and this included a unit in brand new plastic. These were the Knights of the Realm on foot, and boy oh boy does this box of minis go hard. There are plenty of options to build and customize these knights, and I love the big cleaving axes that you can equip to these guys. From here we had a bunch of new single miniatures like the Questing Paladin with a great sword, a new Battle Standard Bearer, the new Handmaiden of the Lady, a Lord on Royal Pegasus, a Standard Bearer on Royal Pegasus, which does come in a separate box, so I count them separately, and what has to be my favorite of the first wave of the new Bretonnians, Lady Elise Duchard on her unicorn, and I think this model is just as well sculpted as any of the new Age of Sigmar or new 40k minis, and I'll die on this hill. A new mini which we got a little bit later on, which technically isn't a new miniature because it was sculpted many years ago in the Warhammer Fantasy days and never got released, and it did get some backlash when it came out for the old world, is the Lord with Great Weapon and his little squire. This is proper hand sculpted goodness, and I understand why people who like modern miniatures were scratching their heads at this one, but I think with a face like this, it's an instant classic. The latest Bretonnian mini to grace us with its presence is Sir Cecil Gaston, which is a bloody ripper of a sculpt, and if we count all these guys and girls up, we have a grand total of 9 new miniatures or miniature kits for the Bretonnians. Throw me in the book, it's time for the Dwarfs. Now the Dwarfs coming back into production for me is a real treat because I could finally get my hands on one of the best Dwarf minis ever created, the Bugman's Cart. Now the Dwarfs haven't had as many new miniatures compared to the other races, but like some of the other armies, they did have a couple of refreshed sculpts towards the end of Warhammer Fantasy, so again they do hold up well. The new minis include this Dwarf Thane with a handgun on an Oathstone, the Dwarf Lord with the Shield Bearers, which also comes with the Dwarf Lord on foot, and this is in the same box, so I'll count it as one, and of course the Slayer King of Karak Kadron himself, Ungrim Iron Fist. I finished up reading the book Road of Skulls recently, where this fella has a huge presence, and it makes me really appreciate this younger version of the Grumpy King even more. The next new mini that came out a few months after is the Engineer Borlaug Damonson, who is geared up and ready to go, and he brings a total of new Dowie to around 4. Now it's time for one of the most lackluster armies that got released with Warhammer the Old World, and it is the Wood Elves. And they really didn't have anything new, and this is kind of disappointing to me because these guys are one of the core Warhammer Fantasy armies, and I feel like they deserved at least one new mini. It could have come down to a timing thing and they pushed them out the door a bit too fast, but maybe we'll get a new Glade Lord very soon, or a very special new miniature, who knows. At least we got that Forest Dragon back. And it pains me to say this, but the Wood Elves have a grand total of 0 new miniatures in the old world. But anyway, let's move on to another sad one, and let's check out the Beastmen's new miniatures. These beastie boys who got the hell out of the Age of Sigmar setting and made their way home to the old world had plenty of re-released classics, which are, let's face it, perfect, but they only had one new release, which was the Blind Bray Shaman, Crawlmore, and his little baby Beastman sidekick. Now even though we only got this, it's a pretty damn fine miniature, and I'd rather this than nothing. This brings the new Beastmen releases to a total of 1. We are definitely on the home straight now, and let's check out one that surprised me with a release a few weeks ago, and that is the Warriors of Chaos. And I have to say, this new box with all these Marauders is absolutely chef's kiss. I was really surprised that this drop didn't get that much coverage when it was first announced. I usually stay up to date with all my Warhammer announcements on dirty old Instagram, and it didn't even get a post in the beginning, but in the weeks that have followed, these great new miniatures have been getting plenty of articles, and in the imagery, some of them even have boats in the background, which makes me think, are we going to see some of these in the future? And bloody hell, I hope so. Now, the Marauders on foot and mounted are wonderful additions to revamp a Chaos army, and they really give me that Norse vibe, so who knows, maybe they'll go in that direction with Chaos in the old world. I'm guessing we'll maybe see these released separately in the future, so you can buy them on foot and mounted if you like. So I'm going to break my own rule here and count them as two. They are kind of refresh units after all. The next new miniature release for Chaos in the old world is Friedal the Chainmaker, and she is very rock and roll with plenty of skulls, and she brings the total of new Chaos miniatures to 3. And last up, of course, we have a brand spanking new army with brand new plastics, and it is the Grand Cathay. And at the time of recording this video, we've had a bunch of new Cathay miniatures revealed, like these peasants, which definitely ground the army a bit more. One small gripe I had with Cathay in the beginning was how clean cut they were in what is meant to be a grimdark setting, or a semi-grimdark setting, and these guys tick that box for me, so I guess I'm all good now. We've also had a new wizard kit, and shout out to the Birdman Familiar, and also a couple of gun teams, but we'll be here all day if I went through all of them, and I'm certain that I've missed something when I was counting these up, but with the whole new army like this, it's going to bump the new mini count for the old world up exponentially, and I think we're sitting around 13 sets of miniatures for Cathay. Pretty much it for all the brand new plastic and resin minis that we got for this year and last year for the Warhammer the Old World, and counting them all up, we have a grand total of 49.5 new minis and kits. Now again, a quick disclaimer, this is a really rough count, and I may have missed some here and there, and the way I've counted these is a bit wacky and doesn't make sense, but we have some sort of picture here to see how much new stuff we had over the last 2 years. Now, how does this compare to the Age of Sigmar releases over the past roughly 2 years? Well, I won't go into detail like I did with all the old world stuff and go through every single mini or kit release, because we'd be here for a very long time. And with that, we need to remember that this game is Games Workshop's flagship fantasy game right now, and the production volume is relatively high. But after a lot of counting and a few recounts, which was extremely difficult because there was a huge amount of Age of Sigmar releases, I arrived at the number of around 113 new kits and single minis. But please take this with a huge grain of salt, and there's a huge caveat with this because I did count all of Age of Sigmar's adjacent games like Warcry and Underworlds, because they are in the same universe and they can technically be used in Age of Sigmar as well. I also counted stuff like the Warhammer Plus mini releases, the Warhammer Heroes box, event exclusive minis, the new Warhammer Quest box, and even some of the Age of Sigmar terrain, which was sold separately. Now, if you're saying it's silly I counted this stuff, I completely understand. The Warcry and the Underworld stuff would amount to about a quarter to a third of the total releases or kits, but that's off the top of my dome, and I just tried to apply the same counting method that I did for the old world. There were also a fair few armies released in this time as well, like the Hellsmiths of Ashut, as well as range refreshers like the Skaven, the Stormcast, and smaller releases like the Dark Oath, Gloomspite kits, and the recent Nurgle refresh. So if you wanted to count these as new armies, you've got yourself around 6 new or revisited armies. Now, these armies were probably well into production before the old world was even on the agenda of coming back. I just think it's an interesting observation to see how much you can get done with a large amount of resources. Again guys, this is super rough, and it was me just scrolling through countless posts and Warhammer community articles with a pen and paper, tallying down each new mini or release kit, and there's definitely going to be a few errors in my math, but we can just use this as a baseline. I could be a little bit over, or I could be a little bit under. Now, what about 40k? Well, this is where the wheels fell off, because to count everything that was technically new is really tricky with 40k. I found huge holes in the way I was counting everything. Who would have thought that? And because 40k has a bunch of upgrade sprues and a high volume of kill team boxes that came out over this period, I had to just rethink my approach. But anyway, after a stressful count, I came to the number of around 109 new releases or minis for Warhammer 40k, and again, take this with a grain of salt. This is just under the amount of new Age of Sigmar releases, but I could be wrong because there's a fair few Space Marine lieutenants out there that I could have missed. But to me, while doing this count, I did feel as though Age of Sigmar had a way bigger presence on their social media and in some of their articles. Now, if we put them all side by side, we have Age of Sigmar at 113, Warhammer 40k at 109, and Warhammer the Old World at 49.5. Now, what does this mean? Well, not much. As I said at the start of this video, the Old World is definitely a second tier game in GW's eyes, but could we see it grow in a few years and the production of new miniatures and kits be increased? I'm not overly confident in this because it is a huge ask and it would need plenty of resources, but here's hoping to at least a little bit more Warhammer the Old World in the future. Now, before we finish, I just want to state that I did not make this video to have a whinge. I just thought it'd be interesting to see how much Old World came out compared to the big dogs. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I want to say a massive thank you to all of my Patreons for all the support you guys give me. I really appreciate it. And if you want to join the Anvil of Doom Patreon, the link is in the bio. And I look forward to catching up with you in the Discord. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you all next time. Cheers.